Hello, and welcome back to the world of FDW Craft. My name is Nick, and this is episode 2 of Minecraft on an atomic level. Last time I gave you guys a tour of my house as it stood at the time, and I've had a few new developments since then. Today I'm going to show you all my new residents up at the ranch, as well as some improvements to my animal accommodations, and my lazy river of endless wonder. Sort of. We'll get to that later. Along the way, seeing as FTW is a wrestling community at its roots, I'm going to answer a few questions asked by you, the community. Let's get started, shall we? So let's get out of that view there, and we'll put on my armor. Gotten some pretty decent armor since the last time we've met. Alright, yeah, you can see I'm no longer AFK. I was standing there for a little bit. Now, things have changed a little bit since the last time you've seen me. We have a warp station now. So we've got a few different destinations that are critical to our operations here. We've got a few NPC villages, as you can see here. They're described pretty much by their name. We got 2 desert villages, and the other 2 are in grassland forest areas. One is a library village. It's got a couple houses with bookshelves in it. And it's also got this village here where one of our members, Darren, or Lynch Clinch, has been building some towers there. Also, we've got a couple of warp points. One to the ranch, which you've seen if you've watched our world tours that Garvin's done. And we've also got a warp point to the sand mine that we have, where it's basically just a patch of desert where we can strip mine the place for sand, sandstone, whatever, and nobody really cares about how it looks. It's just there for exploitation purposes. But we're not going to be using that today. I'm a little strapped for cash here, and the prices have been increased, which is a dirty trick by the administration. But that's no big deal. Cash isn't really that hard to come by on this server if you know how to make some. Instead, we're going to go somewhere I haven't shown you before on Minecraft on an atomic level. Garvin has made a couple of videos here in the Nether, which is where we're going to be going. We set up kind of a walkway to 4 different portals. One portal is at the ranch. Oh, something hit me. Okay. It's gone now. So, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, this portal has a walkway to the portal up at the ranch. So that's where we're going to be taking. And while we're walking, I'm going to go ahead and answer my first question. It's from Chris M. on our Google Plus page. We have a community there. It's about 20,000 members strong, so it's a pretty large community. Not the most active bunch overall, but we do have a fair number of very active users. Chris is one of them. And if you watched Monday Night Raw last night, you would have seen the return of Batista. And he asked about thoughts that anyone had on his return. And considering just how big a name of Batista is, obviously he got a lot of comments back. But I figured I'd answer in my own way here on the show. So, my thoughts on Batista's return. I am not a Batista fan by any stretch of the imagination. Didn't much care for him back when he was a big name. Don't much care for him now. In fact, when he came out and he started talking to Randy Orton, I don't think I've ever wanted to see Alberto Del Rio interrupt somebody so badly in my entire life. Frankly, I don't really know why Batista is coming back. He definitely doesn't need it. And the WWE doesn't really need him either. The way it might be argued that the WWE needs The Rock, or they need Hogan, or one of the big names from the past. So I made the joke on Twitter. Batista recently commented that Alberto Del Rio is a C-level star or a C-level talent in a B-level era. My view on it is Batista was a C-level star from a B-level era, so that's my take on that. So overall, not too impressed by Batista's return. I'll wait and see on the inevitable feud with Del Rio. Who knows? Maybe Del Rio will make a face turn out of this, and he wasn't too bad as a face last time around, so maybe we'll actually get some positive out of Batista's return. Alright, here we are at the ranch. And if you haven't seen it before, this is not the ranch, obviously, not the entirety of it. Right now we're in the base of a lighthouse that Garvin, Joe, and I built, and it's not on the itinerary, but I'll give you a quick look nonetheless. Here was just a rest area that me and Joe had while we were building the tower itself, and we'll go up to the top here, where I will show you Garvin's contribution to the project. Now see, all these redstone lamps, this redstone wiring, the daylight sensor. Basically, when the sun goes down, these lights turn on, and you get the lighthouse effect. You know, it's pretty tall. You can't really see it from in here. Let's go out to the landing down here. So it's pretty tall. Got a pretty nice view of the ocean. And if you're coming in by sea, you'll see the lighthouse in the distance. Originally, what we wanted to do here was we wanted to set up a system where the lights would turn on in an interval going kind of a counterclockwise direction, or clockwise direction, excuse me, like a lighthouse would, where the light revolves and strobes around. But that turned out to be a little complicated, so we just settled for a system where the sun goes down, the lights come on, and it's basically just as good. So that's the lighthouse in a nutshell. If you haven't seen it before, it's pretty sweet. Now, let's just shut the door here. I won't go back down the ladder. Over here you can see the ranch area. The ranch is over in that general direction over there. Over here is a ranch house belonging to Little RP Murph, also known as Anakin. He's got a nice little setup there. But basically, what we're going to do is jump into the water here. And success. I did not crash anything and die. Let's swim over here. We've got a little walkway going from the lighthouse onto the ranch. Pretty nice design. Seems we had a little bit of vandalism somewhere along the line. We'll fix that later. And we've got a couple sheep out here. Probably escapees from the ranch, although they haven't been tagged. Let's see if I can beat this creeper here. Yeah, they haven't been tagged with a number, so they may not actually be from within the confines of the ranch. And you'll see what I mean by a tag. See, that's number 3. Garvin and I conducted a little experiment a while back because sheep seemed to be vanishing. And he thought it was just because they were despawning. I thought they were actually managing to escape somehow. So I tagged several of the sheep, and it turned out they actually were escaping. We found several tagged sheep outside the fence at one point. So I was right, as per usual. Alright, going up. Got a little walkway area. Originally, it was just this line right here connecting to the little hut you see down there. And it was just basically back when mobs would spawn out in the middle of the ranch here. There was a lot fewer animals back then, too. And it's just so you could take pot shots at the mobs with your bow. Just nice fun. But when I built my residence up here, my ranch house, I decided that I didn't want to go running across all that stretch of land to get into the ranch and then face a possibility of running into mobs within the ranch as well. So I extended the walkway here all the way to my ranch house out there. So there you see it out in the distance. And while we're running, let's get started on this next question. This is also from the G Plus page. It's from Tony Holmes. He heard the rumor that since Jeff Hardy is not on TV for TNA, he heard the rumor that Jeff Hardy was bound for the WWE, which I'm 99% certain that he is not. I can't say 100% because since TNA is not a publicly traded company, they don't have to divulge all the details that the WWE would. So it is entirely possible that Hardy is having talks on the down low with WWE. But in the past, Jeff Hardy's never been shy about bringing up the fact that his contract is close to expiring. And really, that's the case with most of TNA's talent. And since nothing has come out to that effect, I'm about 99% sure that Jeff Hardy is not leaving TNA. He's just been written off TV since he can't make the UK tour due to his past drug charges. But I'm going to go ahead and speculate on what would happen if Jeff Hardy is indeed bound for the WWE. What would be a few good moves for him over there? But before I do, as you can see, we're inside my ranch house here. And this is the second level of the house. This is my first project with stained glass, and it's not quite as nice a look up here with the oak wood, but you will see when we go downstairs, I'm in the process of replacing the oak wood with iron blocks. And since mining iron and turning it into block form takes up a lot of iron bars in the first place, as you can imagine, just to make this one floor, and not even the floor in these separate rooms has been replaced yet, just this main area, it's a lot of iron blocks. And I've asked for some people if they have iron blocks, or even just regular iron bars, if they'd be willing to sell them in the shop. And some people have spoken up and helped out a little bit, chipped in a little bit. But basically, yeah, this is going to be a pretty massive undertaking if I continue to stick with the idea of replacing all this oak wood, the floors and the walls, with iron blocks. And ultimately, I may change my mind. This is definitely not a finished product by any means. If we'll step outside for a little bit, here's my house from the outside. At first, having the redstone there was just a byproduct of the placement of the redstone lamps, which you can see there. There's a lamp. There's a redstone that's powering it. At first, it was just a necessity because I didn't build in double walls. One side for the exterior and one side for the interior that would hide the redstone blocks. But I decided that I kind of like the look of the redstone blocks interspaced along the exterior. And you can see I've got the stone brick sectioning off parts of the brick wall. I'm kind of playing with the idea, though, of replacing the stone brick with wood. Most likely dark oak wood, because I just recently used dark oak in another project that I'm going to show you shortly, and I love the look of dark oak, both in plank form and in the log form. So by the next time you see me on episode 3 of Minecraft on an atomic level, we may have oak logs or oak planks replacing the stone brick here, and you may in fact see this oak wood replaced with iron blocks, or you may see it replaced with something else altogether. And you can see in here I've got a little wall of furnaces. This is really the only extra stuff that I have in this house, really. It's pretty bare bones. I haven't moved anything in here, and I probably won't until I decide on the final direction for the house, just so I won't have to keep moving all kinds of stuff around every time I want to switch something up. But yeah, that's my ranch house in a nutshell. Next on the itinerary is the last thing I want to show you guys. My lazy river back at my house. So we'll go back up to the walkway, and on the way there, I'll give my answer to Tony's question, or my interpretation of his question. Essentially, if Jeff Hardy was to go back to the WWE, Tony theorized that Hardy would be a great surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble this Sunday, and obviously it's pretty short notice for him to show up in the Rumble. But in a vacuum, that idea wouldn't be very bad all by itself. It'd be a nice surprise. But I'm thinking more along the lines of feud directions, and who would be a good opponent for Hardy coming back. Excuse me. If you think back to Hardy's last stint in the WWE, he had a pretty good rivalry with CM Punk. And admittedly, it was Punk that was carrying the feud, or most of the feud to an extent. But it was still a very good rivalry. Other possible opponents that I could see for Hardy, this time I think we will take the Warp Station back. I don't feel like running all the way to the Nether. So, quick as a flash. But other opponents for Jeff Hardy would be, I think Ziggler would be a good opponent for Hardy. We all know how much of a reputation that Hardy has for putting his body on the line just to put on a good match. And Ziggler has a lot of that same reputation now. And, let me interrupt myself for a second. Garvin just released a video today. It's Tuesday today. And he just released a video showcasing the shop. His butcher's shop. And it's very nice artistic design here. I like the cow head. If you come back from my house and run up the path there, it's the same on the other side. So I basically got a giant cow staring me down as I run from my house up to the old shop area. It's oddly intimidating and alluring. But I won't go inside just now. If you want to see the inside of the shop, he's got a video, so check that out. So here's a path to my house. We didn't take the path down on the ground last time. We took the sky rail. So this is my path to my house. And you can see here, Garvin was talking about us not spending enough time building for artistic purposes. And that's one thing that Garvin did to correct that error. And Blue Cactuar, Matt, he set up a giant picture of a blue cactuar, if you're familiar with the Final Fantasy universe at all. Basically, a cactuar is a walking cactus with arms and legs, and he made a blue one. It's pretty sweet, and there's a video of that as well on Garvin's last world tour, so check that out as well. My contribution was to make a Pokeball. Plain and simple. And on the inside of it, it's hollowed out. It's got a space in there, just a bed and a chest, nothing fancy. So I won't take the time to run in there. Oh, before we do the lazy river, let me show you guys my new animal pens. Here's the Tauros pen. If you're familiar at all with Pokemon, you know that Tauros is a bull Pokemon. I was inspired by the Pokeball. And this is where I keep my new cow population. Basically, I was growing cows, and then they kept disappearing, despawning, even inside an enclosed space. So I decided I didn't want to bother with this anymore. It was too much work keeping them spawned up, and I slaughtered the cows and pigs I had in there, in my old animal pen. But now that Garvin has the shop there, and what he does is he sells beef, leather, buckets of milk, but he also has a livestock delivery service. So we made a transaction. He delivered 4 cows. I bred them, and now there are 6. So this is where I'll be keeping my cows for the foreseeable future. Just a small little basic pen, acacia wood walls. This is the project I was talking about earlier. Dark oak logs for supports and whatnot. It's a nice little building, if I do say so myself. That's the new addition to my animal pen. I've renovated a little bit. Ooh, a brown sheep. But yeah, I've renovated the old pen a little bit. Bye, Joe. Yeah, getting back to Hardy. Ziggler would be a good opponent. I also think that Kofi Kingston would be a good opponent. Kofi is basically Black Jeff Hardy at this point anyway. Same sort of accomplishments. Same sort of body on the line, spot monkey style that Hardy has. So it'd be a very interesting feud, I think. So, yeah, Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, CM Punk, all good opponents for Hardy if he were ever to return to the WWE. Which I don't see happening anytime soon, but there you go. Okay. here is, if I can make it through the door, there we go. Here's my animal pen as it stands now. Lots of sheep everywhere. Back when I showed you this last time, I had maybe 4 sheep and a pig. They were all named. They've all passed on. I don't know what really happened. I don't know if they despawned or someone ran in and slaughtered them, because I did find pork lying in here, and obviously they don't drop that unless they've been killed or they died somehow. And the fence wasn't here before, so I don't really know how he could have dropped from a height and died that way. So I have a sneaking suspicion that somebody ran in and slaughtered them for reasons unknown to me. Which is why you see iron doors everywhere now. And I basically instituted that around all of my property. Just because with the claim system we've got set up, the property claim system, excuse me, regular doors and fences can be opened by anybody, regardless of whether it's their claim or not. But iron doors and the buttons that open them cannot be operated. So that it's a good security measure with the system we've got in place. But yeah, sheep everywhere. It's very lucrative from a wool collecting standpoint, and I haven't had to breed new sheep in a while. The reason the fence is in here as well as the stone brick wall, Garvin realized that if you just have a single barrier, the sheep can somehow, through some kind of glitch that I think was supposed to be fixed back in the 1.6 series of updates, but the sheep can wind up pushing through the barrier and escaping that way. So instead of setting up a double wall, which we discovered that animals, if they make it through one wall and they get trapped in the other, they wind up suffocating and dying anyway. So you lose the animal either way. Instead of that, we've come up with a way to keep them in, but keep them from killing themselves, and that's to set up a fence inside the stone wall, the stone brick wall in my case. Garvin's opted for another system where he has a fenced-in enclosure of cows, and instead of setting up a wall outside the fence, his system is inside the fence. He's dug a ditch. So the cows can't get past the wall because they fall into the ditch. So that's just another way to keep your animals from escaping. And I probably would have opted for that approach as well if I didn't already have this structure in place here. But you'll notice that I've taken out the step. Actually, I don't remember if I had the steps in place last time. Between now and the last time you guys saw me, I set up a series of steps to connect the 3 levels I have set up in here. Unfortunately, with the height here, if the animals would fall off the steps, they would plummet to their deaths. So I set up a fence wall to keep that from happening, and it just wasn't very elegant looking at all. So when I slaughtered my pigs and cows last time, I just removed that entirely. But the sheep are not all I have going on in my new and improved animal pen. If I go up to the top level here, you can see that I've also got some chickens. And chickens are, well, you guys know what chickens are good for. Basically, what I keep the chickens around for is not for the meat, but for feathers. And I haven't gotten them bred to a point where I can just kill chickens for the feathers willy-nilly yet. I still need to, or I'd still like to populate this area some more before I start collecting feathers. I'd like to get my stockpile of eggs built up, because for some reason the ratio of chickens hatched to eggs thrown is very, very lopsided. So you can throw a couple stacks of eggs and maybe get 1 chicken. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, that concludes my animal pen demonstration, both the improvements and the renovations and the expansions. So, last thing on the itinerary, this time for reals, guys, I promise. We're going to go into the subterranean expansion of my house. I'll introduce you to a couple new additions to my family. Went out to unexplored wilderness and found some wolves, tamed a couple, brought some home. This is Oberon. If you're a fan of the Iron Druid Chronicles by Kevin Hearn, you'll know the Irish Wolfhound from there. Oberon is named after him. Let me introduce you to Mr. Orion and Garfield. Over in the corner, we got Mouse, another animal from the Dresden Files, one of my favorite series. So, yeah, those are the new additions to my animal family. For this last showcase, we're going to be taking the water escalator down that I showed you last time around. Still as fun as it was before. Still as long as it was before, too. And here we are. Alright. New door. Here we are. The Lazy River of Endless Wonder. I set this area up. It basically encircles all of this. And it's a continually flowing river. It's a lazy river, like it says. And my intent here is to set up various exhibits along the way of just some cool stuff that you can stop off and take a look at and experiment with. At the moment, though, I only have one exhibit up. And I'm not going to show you guys that just yet, just because the video that I watched, where I got the inspiration from, the way it works in that video and the way it works here on the server is not quite as analogous as it should be. It doesn't work like advertised. I won't elaborate too much further because that would entail me having to show you guys what I mean, and I'm not ready for that just yet. I want to have a couple more exhibits set up to merit its own video. But yeah, here's the system. Here's the Lazy River in all its glory. Very labor intensive. Yeah, it was a labor of love. I enjoyed doing it, but it took a lot of time to put together. And the goal of this is if you get into the river, it'll take you around the entire circuit and you won't stop once. It doesn't work out quite as well it doesn't work quite as well as it should in theory. There are a couple kinks, but I discovered that if you stay in the middle of the river here, you will in fact go without stopping. I left this running. I left myself sitting in here for several hours while I walked away from the computer, and I came back and I was still going. So, mission accomplished. Alright, we're going to go along the lazy river here, and as we're doing that, I'm going to answer one final question. And this is a question... Okay. Oh, you know what? It's not the middle of the river, it's the inside track. I forgot. It's been a little while since I've ridden this. But yeah, you stay on the inside track, and you will continue moving in one form or another. But yeah, as I was saying, Michelle, one of the writers on fanstalkwrestling.com, is a great writer, has put out a number of great articles. Check that out at fanstalkwrestling.com. Her latest article was her prediction for the Final Four in the Rumble. And I'm not going to reiterate her predictions. You can check that out for yourself. It's a great article. But I figured I'd name my Final Four for the Rumble. I'm not going to say who I think will win the Rumble. If you want to hear that, you'll just have to listen to the next episode of the FTW podcast. Before I do that, nice lava pool, huh? Yeah, a couple of nice little lava pools. I came across these as I was digging out the course of the lazy river. Yeah, just something neat to look at as you float through. But yeah, my final four for the Royal Rumble, I think Batista is going to be inevitable, just given the fact that he just came back. The WWE isn't going to want to embarrass him just yet with a loss, um, which I don't really see the point of saving him, given that he really doesn't have a purpose here at any rate. But yeah, Batista's going to be one of the final ones. Daniel Bryan, I think. Oh, excuse me. Daniel Bryan is not going to be in the Rumble. He's going to be in a singles match. CM Punk is what I meant to say, I think. CM Punk will last till the final four. Just because he's too big of a name. Even if you put him at number one, he's just too big of a name to throw out early. And it's been long enough, I think, since he's been near the title that the WWE will at least tease the prospect of him getting close to it again. So we've got Batista, we've got CM Punk. I think a third contender is going to be, why am I blanking? Dolph Ziggler. There it is. I think Dolph Ziggler is going to make a strong showing. Ziggler has been criminally underused ever since that concussion he got. And I really think the WWE, if they aren't, they should put him back in a position of prominence, because he's just way too good to keep using him the way they've been using him, just as a jobber, basically. So, Batista, CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, and another no-brainer, I think, will be Roman Reigns. He's just been on way too much of a tear lately for me to think otherwise. Reigns has almost a total package, if not the entire thing. I think he's close to having it all together. And really, it makes a lot of sense. If Punk is going to last to the Final Four, Reigns is going to last to the Final Four. So, yeah, those are my picks for the Final Four. To reiterate, Batista, CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, and Roman Reigns. And there it is, folks. We have if I can get up, that's the full circuit of the Lazy River of Endless Wonder. That's the exhibit I was talking about earlier. Like I said, I won't show it off yet. We'll save that to another video. But yeah, there you have it, folks. That does it for today. Give this video a like if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe if you want more from me, Garvin, other FTW crafters. We've got a couple guys that have expressed interest in making videos of what they're doing. And Blue Cactuar is one of them. And he's been doing some awesome stuff lately. So I'm very much looking forward to videos from him. So like, subscribe, comment below with praise, criticism, or general nonsense, as long as it's related to the video. Go ahead and post it. If you want to find me, reach out to me personally, you can find me on Twitter at Atomic Geek. It's my same as my username here on the server. Find me on Facebook. You can find me in the WWE and TNA fans group, FTW Podcast. That is our Facebook community. To join the server, if you're interested in that, if you want to take part in what we've got going on here, this Saturday we're planning on fighting the Wither. So it might be a little late to join the server and take part in that, just because of the difficulty of the encounter involved and just how much time it would probably take for you to get all your stuff together and get ready for the fight. But if you can't join in time for that, we're also going to be going to the end pretty soon to fight the Ender Dragon and open that area up. We think that we're going to be doing the encounter sometime in February. Joe on the server, we're kind of waiting on him. He's pretty busy in real life. And since he found the end, we think it would be appropriate for him to take part in the battle. So we're just waiting on him to become available. And as soon as that happens, we'll let you know a final date for the Ender Dragon battle. So if you want to join the server and maybe take part in that and any other projects we got going on, join our Facebook group, FTW Gaming. It's a gaming community we set up as an offshoot of the FTW community in general. So go there and submit your username, and we'll take a look at you and put you on the whitelist. So that's all for me. Have a good one, folks.